it ain't over. I'm not done. I just want me to find it. 'Cause I'm not done. I just want me to find it. I'm not done. I just want me to find it. 'Cause I'm not done. I just want me to find it. Someone told me that I could find it. I will find my way. Gotta keep looking. If it's not fair, gotta go again. Wish to get over it. 'Cause when I look aside, she's always by my side. She guides me with a sign and lie to me. It ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. I'm not done. I just want me to find it. 'Cause I'm not done. I just want me to find it. I'm not done. I just want me to find it. 'Cause I'm not done. I just want me to find it. I'm not done. I just want me to find it. 'Cause I'm not done. I just want me to find it. I'm not done.
Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Pertamanya saya ingin mengambil kesempatan ini untuk mengalu-alukan kedatangan tetamu jemputan kita, iaitu yang berbahagia Prof Datuk Teknologis Dr. Nur Azizi bin Ismail, Naib Chancellor Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, dan Profesor Madya Dr. Nur Azharuddin Shah bin Abdullah, atau nama manja beliau lah Pak Din. Kalau siapa nak kenal Pak Din ni, kalau pergi USM sebut Pak Din je, inilah Pak Din sebenarnya. Dari School of Materials and Mineral Resources Engineering USM, ke RMIC Publication Talk 2021 series. Selamat datang Prof Datuk dan Pak Din. Sebelum kita mulakan Pak Din, untuk makluman para hadirin semua, program RMIC Publication Talk series ini merupakan program bulanan yang dianjurkan oleh bahagian penerbitan dan penarafan, iaitu nama singkatan DPRD, yang bernaung di bawah RMIC, Pejabat Ketua Timbalan Naib Chancellor Pendidikan Inovasi UMK, sebagai salah satu platform dan medium untuk memberikan kesedaran, iaitu awareness Pak Din, Datuk, khususnya kepada penyelidik UMK tentang maklumat terkini mengenai penerbitan, terutamanya melibatkan pemilihan platform jurnal yang betul dan tidak tergolong di dalam yang dikatakan nama jurnal pemangsa ni Datuk dan Pak Din, predatory journal, yang hangat diperkatakan kini di seluruh dunia. Selain itu juga RMIC turut menganjurkan RMIC Coffee Talk, iaitu lebih menumpukan kepada penyelidikan, dan kita ada juga RMIC IP and Com Talk yang juga diadakan secara bulanan. Okey, sebelum itu saya juga ingin mengalu-alukan kehadiran semua rakan-rakan akademik dan pentadbir daripada Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, serta rakan-rakan maya kita daripada Universiti Awam dan Universiti Swasta. Assalamualaikum semua dan selamat salam sejahtera yang bersama bersiaran secara online pada pagi ini. Untuk makluman semua, tajuk yang akan kita kupaskan pada sesi perkongsian pagi ini adalah berkenaan Making Sense in Publishing. Okay, sebelum kita meneruskan sesi perkongsian kita pada pagi ini, moleklah rasanya kita berkenal-kenalan lah bersama panel dahulu. Tak kenal maka tak cinta lah, kata orang. Jadi kita mulakan dengan yang berbahagia Datuk lah. Jadi yang berbahagia Prof Datuk Teknologis Dr. Nur Azizi Ismail, seperti yang kita dah kenal. Okey. adalah Naib Chancellor UMK yang kelima. Betul Saya rasa betul insya-Allah, dan merupakan mantan Timbalan Ketua Pengarah TKP di Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi KPT. Berpengalaman luas di dalam penyelidikan dan inovasi, di mana Prof Datuk juga merupakan mantan Timbalan Naib Chancellor Pendidikan dan Inovasi Universiti Utara Malaysia sebelum ini. Okey, boleh tengok di hadapan ini garang dan tegas orangnya, tetapi di sebalik ketegasan beliau itu, beliau merupakan seorang motivator yang sangat baik kepada semua staf UMK. Itulah Prof Datuk Teknologis Nur Aziz Ismail kita. Okey, jadi Datuk juga merupakan penulis kepada sebuah buku yang sekarang ni hangat di pasaran, iaitu I Believe Therefore I Am, yang ada di hadapan tuan-tuan sekalian. Jadi panel kita yang seterusnya, yang kita bawa khas daripada orang kata mai daripada Penang, okey, Penang mai, okey, nasi kandak satu kan, iaitu Prof Madya Dr. Noraz Harudin Shah bin Abdullah, atau nama manjanya tadi Pak Din. Okey, ialah seorang anak Kelantan di perantauan. Inilah dia, orang Kelantan mai baik Kelantan. Kini beliau adalah seorang Prof Madya, memulakan karier akademik di Universiti Sains Malaysia sebagai pensyarah di Pusat Pengajian Kejuruteraan Bahan dan Sumber Mineral dalam program kejuruteraan sumber mineral bermula tahun 2011. Seorang jurutera bertauliah, chartered engineer, beliau aktif dalam pentadbiran, pengujian konsultansi, penilaian, pementoran jurutera bertauliah dan penyelidikan. Siapa-siapa yang nak test tu berkenaan dengan the strength of material, the polymer, everything tu, boleh jumpa Pak Din. Beliau ialah mantan penggawa Desa Siswa Jaya dan utama kampus kejuruteraan USM, mantan pengarah Pusat Perhubungan Alumni, kerjaya dan keboleh pasaran graduan USM, dan kini menyandang jawatan Naib Presiden Persatuan Kaki Tangan Akademik dan Pentadbir PKAP USM. Ingat pick up tadi, ingatkan Pulut Dakap. Kat Kelantan ni orang duk sebut Pulut Dakap, Pak Din. Pasal lah ni mah banyak kan. Okey. Jadi tak mau coteh kita celoteh panjang. Jadi mungkin Pak Din pun hari ni daripada Penang mai balik ke Kelantan ni, mungkin boleh kecek Kelantan sikit dah.
Oh ya, boleh insya-Allah. Boleh.
Okey. Jadi kita mulakan kita punya sesi ini dengan panel yang pertama dahulu, iaitu yang berbahagia Prof Datuk Nur Aziz Ismail. Okey Datuk, saya ingin bertanyakan satu soalan ni kepada Datuk dulu. Kita punya sesi pada hari ini kita buat 2 round. Okey, kalau masa ada kita buat 3 round. Kalau ada permintaan yang hangat daripada pasaran, kita akan buat 5 round, insya-Allah. Jadi soalan yang pertama Datuk, sebagai seorang yang bernama akademik dan penyelidik, apakah fungsi, iaitu role sebenar mereka dalam konteks penyelidikan dan penerbitan di universiti? Okey, silakan Datuk.
Okey, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Terima kasih pengacara mantap Profesor Ziad, dan juga welcome kepada Pak Din yang datang daripada USM. Saya jemput dia, datanglah. Jadi untuk berkongsi sedikit, sebab tajuk ini pertama sekali agak dekat di hati saya, dan saya telah bercakap mengenai isu ini agak lama lah, sejak daripada saya di institusi yang lama. Jadi mungkin apa yang saya cuba kongsikan hari ini lebih kepada perkara asas, trying to bring back the meaning, the values and purpose of existence of the higher education. Dan kalau secara ringkasnya lah, kalau kita sebagai seorang pensyarah, our core business ialah teaching. Itu core business kita, di mana kita harus mendidik pelajar untuk menjadi insan yang berguna dalam bidang yang dia pelajari. Itu yang pertama. Dan yang kedua ialah untuk memantapkan pengajaran kita itu, kita harus melakukan penyelidikan. Dan apabila kita telah melakukan penyelidikan, ia harus dikongsi. Ini nanti akan ada making sense of publication. Saya juga nak sentuh nanti ialah making sense of doing research. Dan yang terakhir sekali, kita juga sebagai seorang ahli akademik terlibat dalam services, giving services. Antaranya consultations dan sebagainya lah, community development etc. Jadi keempat-empat skop tadi yang saya nyatakan tadi, they are actually interrelated and interdependent. And what most importantly is that those must contribute back to the core business of higher education, iaitu nurturing the human tadi. Okay, jadi dalam konteks ini human aspect is very very important. So yang kedua, saya tak nak sentuh sangat on teaching and learning. Okay, tapi saya nak jump terus kepada research. Okay, kita biasa kalau orang akademik ni biasa dengar FRGS apa semua kan. Kadang-kadang saya terfikir juga, do we really understand what fundamental research grant is all about, kan? Kadang-kadang adakah definisi FRGS itu sendiri membawa makna yang tepat? But anyway, kalau research ni kita boleh pecahkan kepada dua. Yang pertama ialah basic research. Kadang-kadang orang panggil pure research lah, fundamental research lah, frontier research, discovery research dan sebagainya. But that all refers to basic lah. Dan yang kedua ialah applied research. Jadi kalau basic research, dia aims dia ialah to expand the knowledge by creating new theories, modifying the existing ones, so that we can have a better and more detailed understanding of the research subject ataupun the phenomena tadi. And normally basic research is driven by curiosity and the need to explore the unknown. Itu pada pandangan saya dan juga apa yang saya baca lah. And that's what I believe as well. Dan yang kedua ialah kita panggil applied research. And applied research ini fokus on providing solutions to specific problems by analysing empirical evidence whatsoever lah. Dan maknanya kat sini, kalau tadi dia lebih driven dia by curiosity, this one is by solutions. And in many cases it actually further investigate the outcomes of the basic research itself. And maknanya dia hasil datang daripada basic research, so that we can validate the findings and apply to whatever context. Dan kalau kita perasan lah, okay, certain countries, I take one example, Finland. Kalau Finland ni dia ada university, normal university, dan dia ada juga University of Applied Sciences. I know that di Ulu, nama tempat ni memang di Ulu lah. Ulu di Finland ni, Ulu dia ada dua university. One is Ulu University, another is Ulu University of Applied Sciences. Okay, jadi normal university ni dia fokus more on basic research, kebiasaannya, tapi tidak 100% lah. Those that are, ini ayat yang saya petik daripada NUS, the former President Tan Cho Chuan. Okay, dia kata those research applied basic research are those that are disruptive in nature, upstream and long term. Itu yang saya petik di sini. And most basic research are funded by the government. Okay, and ni dia ada pula produces spin-off companies. Nanti saya akan relate apa beza spin-off dengan startup companies. Okay, normally the spin-off dia actually derive from basic research. And then second is the University of Applied Sciences that focus on more applied research, solution ataupun industry driven. Saya tahu University of Ulu University of Applied Sciences, dia even dia punya KPI pensyarah itu pun lain. It's not the number of publications. Kalau saya tanya sendiri, saya berbincang dengan seorang profesor, saya tak ingat nama dia pelik sikit, orang Finland. And he told me that the professor naik pangkat di University Applied Sciences is by judging the number of solutions that they solve, the industry problem that they solve. Jadi itu KPI dia berbeza dengan Ulu University yang melihat kepada apa ni tadi. And this the problem that you solve will normally dia akan hasilkan what they call as startup companies. So around Ulu itself, I was told that there are 500 startup companies that are supporting the industries. Itu kita kena lihat. Dan saya juga pagi tadi I quickly Google the apa ni, macam mana kita nak balance between the basic and applied. Kalau ikut data OECD, dia kata on average, kalau OECD punya ni 25% are focus on basic and the rest by applied lah, and funded by the industry. Itu dia ada dia punya debate dia lah. Saya tak nak panjangkan. So but the takeaway from this research punya, making sense of research is that, malam tadi saya ada sembang dengan Pak Din juga, I'm talking about research that matters. Why do we do research? Kan? Adakah kerana itu sebab KPI? Dia ada sebab tadi ni. Kenapa you buat apply? Kenapa you buat basic research? Dia kena ada tujuan dia. Once you have done research, then you need to publish. Kan? Kenapa kita perlu publish? So that we can exchange the information, we can disseminate the information yang kita dapat daripada kajian kita. Jadi di mana kita publish? Yang pertama sekali, semua orang tahu, dalam academic journal. Nanti saya minta Pak Din kupas academic journal. And kerana why do we publish in and where do we publish? Itu juga satu perkara yang kita akan kupas panjang ni. Kalau siapa yang baca buku Research That Matters oleh Marco Bussi, dia menekankan dia sebut the virus are spreading in academic institution. Ini yang kita akan kupas juga. Dan yang kedua ialah kita kena publish dalam professional magazines. I always believe in that. I have done that. Kerana orang industri dia tak baca academic journal. Academic journal tadi untuk klik kita dalam bidang dunia akademik. Dan yang ketiga ialah some good universities they also publish in case studies. Why case studies? Ada guna dia. Dan juga newspapers lah. Tapi bukan berita picisan. Newspapers yang menjadi rujukan penting. Okey, kalau dalam bidang bisnes, The Age ke dan sebagainya. So, dan nak sentuh sikit je pasal academic journal tadi. Kalau dalam disiplin saya lah, masa saya muda-muda, okay, saya ni accounting information system. So kalau dalam spesifik bidang saya, yang paling top jurnal dia ialah International Journal of Accounting Information System. Masa tu tak ada Scopus, tak ada ISI, WOS. But kita sebagai young academician, kita kata what are the best top journals in our discipline. So kita akan cuba publish dalam jurnal-jurnal yang sebegitu. Dan kalau dalam domain information system yang lebih besar, yang paling topnya antaranya ialah MIS Quarterly. Tapi the good thing about MIS Quarterly, they have another version. They call it MIS Quarterly Executive, which is meant for executive lah, practitioners. So nak cerita tadi, we gain more knowledge by doing good research. Ni kadang-kadang orang ni dia ingat dia buat research, dia publish, habis itu. That research must benefit our student. Yeah, because we do research, we gain knowledge. We share back with our student in the classroom. Kita boleh bagi contoh-contoh yang sesuai. And it must also benefit the industry and relevant agencies. Bagaimana? Melalui consultation work, executive training dan sebagainya. Kita kat sini executive training ni seorang-seorang kuku tak ada. Tapi kalau universiti top di luar negara, executive training and consultation are the big thing, whereby you apply whatever knowledge, skill that you have from your research, disampaikan kepada pihak industri. Dan akhirnya, ini last saya nak sebut panjang, marah kepada dia pula. So nak pusingkan dia itu. Okay. Involvement. Akhir tadi saya mention about research, publication, consultation, executive training. When we involve in consultation and executive training, we gain more knowledge by interacting with the corporate people, for example, and government officers. And that should further enrich our knowledge yang kita dah ada, yang mana ultimately kita boleh kongsi balik dengan pelajar. So the benefit must go back to the student. Waktu saya selalu dengar, it should also bring in more question. Sebab ilmu ni dia tak habis. Kita interact ni apa-apa ni, bring in more question and further investigation to find the answer to that particular question. Ni dia kata dia research dia berterusan. Cara rekah kita apa dia? Ni projek.
Okey. Terima kasih Datuk untuk soalan yang pertama tadi. Kita lihat berdasarkan kepada pandangan yang berbahagia Prof Datuk tadi, iaitu role kita sebagai penyelidik ni sebenarnya khususnya di dalam penyelidikan dan inovasi, kita sebenarnya bukan hanyalah melihat kepada fundamental aspect sahaja, tetapi kita perlu melihat kepada applied. That's why di peringkat kementerian pun telah dibahagikan kepada dua lah ya Pak Din, maksudnya untuk fundamental research tu dibuka oleh Kementerian Pergantian Tinggi, dan untuk yang applied research tu basically is mostly open for the applied research fund dan sebagainya. Jadi saya suka dengan last message Datuk tadi berkenaan dengan whatever yang penyelidik lakukan untuk penyelidikan dan sebagainya, yang akhirnya sebenarnya kita akan contribute balik kepada pelajar. Itu adalah yang the main task. Because of pelajar ni, bila pelajar tu bergraduasi sebagai contohnya, mereka ini akan membawa ilmu-ilmu baru yang ada dalam universiti tersebut untuk disseminatekan kepada industri, agensi, komuniti dan sebagainya. Okay, saya rasa quite interesting untuk yang permulaan ni. Jadi untuk makluman Datuk juga dan semua, jadi kita sekarang ni telah mempunyai view untuk live official UMK ni lebih kurang nearly 70 lah, insyaAllah. Jadi mungkin akan bertambah daripada masa ke semasa ni. Jadi kita mengharapkan supaya lebih ramai lagi, yang mana kita target adalah untuk mereka ini mendapatkan sedikit ilmu daripada perkongsian pada hari ini. Okay, jadi kita beralih kepada panel kita yang kedua ni, Pak Din ni. Okay, jadi Pak Din, kita lihat kinilah akademik ataupun penyelidik ni sentiasa bercakap mengenai penerbitan berimpak dan sebagainya. Dia orang cakap impact, word of sign dan sebagainya. Bila bercakap berkenaan impact, banyak term yang perlu difahami sebelum penyelidik ini benar-benar faham tentang penerbitan. Of course, semasa kita buat PhD, buat master dan sebagainya, memang kita ni diminta untuk publish dan sebagainya, because sebagaimana yang panel pertama yang berbahagia Datuk maklumkan tadi, because of kita perlu untuk disseminatekan knowledge ini untuk makluman pembaca dan sebagainya. Jadi sebagai contohnya H-Index, ISI, WOS, Copper dan sebagainya. Selain itu juga penerbitan ini sudah menjadi satu budaya wajib di universiti Pak Din. Jadi soalan saya Pak Din, bolehkah Pak Din kongsikan sikit berkenaan dengan perkara ni untuk yang kita punya first round ni? Silakan Pak Din.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma aftah alaina hikmataka wa anshur alaina min hadaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Sahabat-sahabat sekalian, terlebih dahulu ingin saya mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih kepada UMK, Datuk Naib Chancellor kerana menjemput saya. Prof Ziyad, terima kasih untuk berkongsi pentas dengan orang-orang yang hebat ni. Dia punya aura dia lain macam sikit. Jadi hari ni saya akan cubalah memperjelaskan dari sudut yang mungkin sedikit berbeza daripada apa yang biasa kita dengar. Yang kita dengar biasanya macam projek kata budaya dah wajib, KPI kena lakukan dan sebagainya. I would like to take it a step back by looking at falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan, FPK. This is why we're here for. Kita adalah pensyarah. But basically kita adalah tenaga pengajar di peringkat pelajar-pelajar matang. Dan role kita berbeza. Role kita ada macam-macam. Kalau dekat USM ada 13 basket, daripada pengajaran, penyelidikan, testing, kepada universiti, kepada masyarakat dan sebagainya. Plenty of things to do. But at the end of the day, it is berkenaan dengan kemenjadian insan kita dan juga mereka yang berguru dengan kita. Jadi I would like to quote something from Rumi to the start, supaya kita orang kata jelas dekat mana kita sebenarnya. Rumi quoted, "I am a child whose teacher is love. Surely my master won't let me grow into a fool." So what I'm saying is, bila cerita tentang kemenjadian insan, the nurturing has to start from the heart. Sama bila kita duduk dekat sini, tanggungjawab kita dan apa kita kena buat semuanya datang daripada hati. Itu yang perkara yang pertama. That's the first thing. Why am I here? And this is where making sense out of publication, salah satu tanggungjawab yang kita ada, yang kita kena kandar. Kita masuk universiti, kita tahu we have to do this. But at the same time, we have to ask our heart, number one, can we find love in it? Bolehkah kita mencari cinta tersebut supayanya ia bukan menjadi satu beban kepada kita. It becomes something automatic. Dan dengan cinta inilah yang kita boleh nurture anak-anak buah kita to make research that matters. Alright. So kalau kita tengok ayat Quran, wa isqala rabbuka lil malaikati inni ja'ilum fil ardi khalifah. Tujuan kita duduk kat sini, kita nak jadi khalifah. Dan khalifah ni pula kalau kita ringkaskan, dia fatonah, amanah, tabligh dengan siddiq. Well, basically publication is about that. Fatonah yang bijak, amanah yang bertanggungjawab, the real deal. Orang kata tak ada kona-kona dan sebagainya, kan? Siddiq yang benar, the true. And then tabligh, menyampaikan. And basically publication is about that. It's about searching the truth, telling it to people, but at the same time it needs to come from the heart. So daripada universiti yang ada tagline kami memimpin, this is what it's about. Kami memimpin daripada mana? Daripada hati. Barulah datangnya segala perbuatan tersebut. And I think this is something that we need to inculcate properly. That we are not doing publication just for the sake of publication. No. I am into it. And this is where ownership also comes about. Oh, I'm seriously into this. I now understand the gist of the problem. I'm trying to find a solution to the problem. And this is the topic statement. This is where the first step of research datang. Oh, I'm trying to look for the gap. And for me, with the training that I had, always I have an argument dengan my supervisor. When I finished my PhD, I did my postdoc. My first experience doing a postdoc is, in terms of research, is to sell what I have, my expertise. But at the same time, kebanyakan proses buat PhD, ujung-ujung ni, I mean last 20 years or so, is different from the ones that you have 50 years ago. Kalau kita tengok A Beautiful Mind, that movie A Beautiful Mind, how Russell Crowe trying to find proposal of his research, it took him a few months. Because why? That finding that gap tu is the real deal. Kebanyakan PhD work sekarang datang topik dah ada, so you don't look at the gaps anymore. Topic is already given to you. So that's one skill that's being lost. So bila kita start to become a researcher, we start to continue with whatever we have, and untuk jalan pintas, we change a bit of parameters here and there, and just for the sake of publishing, I can make this publishable. Okay? Ini belum cerita the academic rigor, the process where you submit you do your writing, you submit, reviewers come back. The surprise I had when I came back was, comply to what reviewers say. It will be quicker. There's no academic discourse. You nak argue ke nak apa? No, it's slightly out of the boundary. Tak ada. So this is where hati, the heart, whether it's in there or not. And this is where you start to actually deviate from the real deal in terms of publication. This is how I see it. And macam Datuk kata, I would like to quote Datuk kata tadi, in terms of doing research that matters. There was this instance where we contributed with an industry group on a certain problem, and then being academic, publishing is good lah. Tabligh kan? You do that tabligh, got the paper published in a very good journal. We sort of like told our counterparts at the industry, excellent, we've got this. They were very happy. The next email that came to us, I'm really sorry, we don't subscribe to this ni, kita tak dapat tengok lah. Although two of them were the authors, they can't even get their own journal. So this is where it comes about, where to publish, what to publish, and how to publish. So I think that is the very, very big thing in terms of trying to find research that matters. So daripada sudut H index dan sebagainya, good. It is good numbers. It is something that orang kata sets the tone. But you know what? At the end of the day, kita sepatutnya adalah jauhari yang mengenal manikam. Why do we need certain people to tell us where to publish and what to publish? We are supposed to be aware. I mean, if you are reading your sources coming from this journal, you know that this journal is good. There's no need for you to listen to other people. You have a clear view. If you are indeed an expert in that area, then you know where to publish. Not only just orang kata trying to fill the Q1, Q2 gap. Macam Datuk kata tadi juga, you can publish anywhere. Dissemination can happen anywhere. It could be in terms of newspapers, for example. where the public is much closer and will be able to understand physically what's going on, technical journals would be one choice. You know, so there is a free rein for you to publish. Publish in good places, publish things that matters, simplify the knowledge so that people can actually appreciate it. So saya berhenti kat situ dulu.
Cuba sebelum Pak Din nak berhenti tu, kita nak sikit minta daripada Pak Din ni, untuk Pak Din boleh share dengan semua pendengar ni berkenaan dengan kita lihat kepada, because sebenarnya yang Pak Din maklum tadilah berkenaan dengan impact dan sebagainya. Contoh di luar negara, sebelum kita ni saya nak minta Pak Din juga ni cakap ni. Contoh sebagai di luar negara. Contohnya mereka ni tidak publish dalam bilangan publication yang terlampau banyak, because budaya di Malaysia ni kita sangat berbangga. Sekiranya kita dalam 1 tahun tu kita boleh publish more than 27 paper, 30 paper, 40 paper. Benda tu dah jadi macam satu orang kata, bila if I have more paper, okay, I'm the champion. Kan? Tapi di luar negara mereka tidak sebegitu. Mereka menerbitkan paper artikel itu dalam number yang very minimum. Tetapi mereka melihat kepada statistik. Okey, statistik. Because statistik itu lebih penting because of orang membaca dan sebagainya. Sikit lagi Pak Din sebelum saya serahkan semula kepada Prof Datuk.
Cerita sedikit berkenaan dengan my postdoc interview. 143 people applied. 8 of us were shortlisted. So while waiting for the interview tu, I shake hands dengan semua orang yang ada. Ada yang datang daripada Cornell, ada yang datang daripada Cambridge, ada yang local boys, Oxford. So basically I was trying to gauge lah who are my opponents and see what kind of advantage I have. Motivasi sebelum masuk dalam bilik, like you don't know what's going to happen. So salam, you know, how's everything, blah blah blah. So this one particular guy was saying, yeah, I'm pretty cool, background chemistry. My PhD yielded me 17 papers. And I go like, okay. So budaya tu ada di sana. Ada di sana. But bila saya masuk, saya kata alamak matilah. My PhD was like 5 papers. I've got another few papers coming in and out, you know. Wah, kalah nombor ni, fail lah kan. Masuk dekat dalam, first question was, what's your favourite movie? And I go like, okay, I was preparing all sorts of technical bits, you know. So the first question was the one of the professors, 6 or 7 professors that I can't remember. I said, what's your favourite movie? And at that time I was thinking, how am I going to tackle the panel? The moment I say, like, you know, Lord of the Rings or, you know, the newer movies, I don't think these people are movie buffs, you know. Okay. So kata macam mana aku nak kata, kamu cerita Piramli langsung. So the conversation ends there. It's bad for me at an interview. So I had to think about something that triggers the interest so that the conversation would go on and they would remember me better from the rest. So while I was like, well, that's an interesting question, I was not expecting that. Dalam kepala otak duduk fikir lah, apa aku nak jawab ni. So looking at them, you know, rata-rata 60s, you know, I say, let's give it a shot. Ben-Hur, Charlton Heston, you know, 9 Academy Awards. It was the best before Titanic. So during that time, it was their genre. And they were like, right, okay, why someone so young appreciating such movies? I said to them, well, it's fantastic. The cinematography was done in a it was the first time you have aerial view of things, you know. Charlton Heston was at his element. The script was done really, really well. The lighting was extremely good. You know, I thought it was a really complete movie, and it is something that people should watch and appreciate. And then one of them was saying to me, oh yeah, remember that scene where he was on a chariot and it was at the end of the cliff and you know, one of the wheels came out and he was like, no, the horse went down. To be honest with you, I can't remember that scene. And I just declared that was my favorite movie ni. So I had 2 ways. Number one, I could just brush it off. Yeah, you know, that scene, yeah, I remember. I could just go on, or I could be really honest. Being an insan, I say, I'm really sorry, I can't remember. I do apologize. And I was quiet for quite a bit of a second, and the panel was like, and I took the second route. I said, sir, I'm really sorry. I I swear to God that I've watched the movie quite a number of times. The scene that you have described, I have no idea. It must be a director's cut or something like that. You know, I really can't appreciate. I do apologize. You know what is his response to me? Oh no, there's no such scene. I'm just playing with you. Tak ada pun. Imagine if I were to say, yeah. And the first point, well, the first point is, you're honest.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
It reflects in terms of your research and your integrity in terms of doing research.
Yeah.
I'm not here to actually look at your academic prowess. You're an Oxford boy. I know you're somewhere there. We're not worried. What we're worried is those people who take advantage of research using the branding to actually win leverage. And that is something very scary. This is not a place where we nurture devils. We are nurturing seraphims here. Barulah boleh duduk lega. Okay. Then only came the second question. The second question was what is that paper that you felt that you are most proudest? And I said to him, I'm a chemical engineer. I work in mass transport. I work in first order principles. I do simulation modeling. I did some work on Maxwell-Stefan, perhaps the only work that actually governs transport through hollow tube membranes.
Yeah.
Maka, could you explain to me and tell me what's the passion in it?
Yeah.
And that's when this is how it is. And for me, for you to have that love and ownership, that's where research starts to matter. Saya berhenti kat situ dulu.
Okey, terima kasih Pak Din. Sebenarnya kitanya benda tu boleh masuk soalan yang kedua, tapi kita nak sedikit supaya kita nak linkkan sedikit berkenaan dengan apa tu yang kita namakan pembudayaan penerbitan ni lah sebenarnya. Ya, jadi Tok, kita berbalik kepada Datuk ni. Saya lebih suka tengok dari segi Datuk punya perjalanan karier Datuk. Sebabnya Datuk VC UMK ni, dia bukan hanya sebagai seorang VC UMK sebenarnya, tetapi beliau, kalau sekarang ni orang bercakap berkenaan dengan Insta famous, okay, LinkedIn famous dan sebagainya, dan Datuk ni merupakan salah seorang influencer lah, di mana semua kata-kata beliau tu boleh dikatakan sebagai hikmah, buah, idea dan sebagainya. Okay, dan bercakap tu bukan kosong, tapi bercakap tu ada fakta dan sebagainya. Datuk jadi bukan saya nak memuji Datuk, tidak. Sebab ini hakikat dalam, because saya dah khatam buku Datuk tu satu setengah kali I believe therefore I am. Okay, kita buat kepada yang di luar tu yang masih belum lagi mendapatkan buku yang berbahagia Prof Datuk, silakan dapat segera, because dalam Shopee pun bukan selalunya ada stok. Jadi silakan buku ni, dan untuk makluman juga, sesiapa yang dah membaca tu silalah like buku ini, supaya buku ini boleh dinobatkan sebagai buku terbaik 2021 insya-Allah. Jadi soalan saya, Datuk. Jadi kita ambil bukan sedikit masa. Itu bukan soalan. Itu kita nak promote sedikit apa dia kata advertisement. Saya diminta oleh penaja untuk cakaplah. Okey, jadi soalannya Datuk Datuk telah menjalani proses lengkap, saya rasa lengkap sebagai seorang academic leadership, academic leader, and then researcher, dan kini menjawat jawatan paling tinggi di universiti. Saya rasa itulah hakikat kita sebagai seorang pensyarah ni, sehinggalah ke tahap sebagai seorang vice chancellor yang boleh melihat segala-galanya lah, dari segi pentadbiran, kepimpinan, penerbitan dan sebagainya. Because of tanpa seorang vice chancellor ini, jadi dia tidak dapat diacukan dari segi strategik dan sebagainya yang telah diamanahkan oleh kementerian kepada universiti tersebut. Jadi my question, Datuk, apakah pandangan dan nasihat Datuk kepada semua akademik dan penyelidik, bukan hanya di UMK ni, malahan di seluruh negara ni, untuk sampai ke tahap ini, Datuk? Silakan.
Payah juga soalan. Tapi saya nak quote what I have few mentors in my life, and one of them probably more than a decade ago lah. Dia pernah bagi tahu saya, dia kata, Azizi, never work for reward. Kita tidak bekerja untuk mendapatkan ganjaran. You just do your best within your capacity and capability. That matters, and the reward in whatever form will come naturally. Tapi bila tadi saya sebut capacity and capability, capacity and capability must be built. Kita perlu membinanya. Tapi bina dia itu dengan cara yang betul. Kan? Kalau siapa baca buku saya tu, saya ada kongsikan satu sajak lah. Saya bukan orang sastra. I'm not good at writing sajak ke apa semua ni. But it came naturally. I wrote that in, if not mistaken, tahun 2012. Tajuk sajak itu ialah Are we proud? Kalau tak salah saya. And pada ketika itu timbul persoalan dalam benak saya tu. I was a dean at that time, the founding dean of the Graduate School of Business, and at that time, about a decade ago, I have seen a new movement, a new trend in education, in higher education. People are so proud of going overseas, presenting papers, publishing papers, things like that. Tapi apa yang terfikir dalam benak saya, are we proud of this and that? Tapi persoalannya, who get the benefit out of it other than ourselves as an academic? Jadi agak panjang, dan saya pernah baca sajak ini di satu international conference. I was invited as the keynote speaker, and saya tak adalah bagi speech yang seperti mana orang akademik lain. Saya bagi a very short one, and then I end up that speech with that sajak tadi, point tadi. Jadi dalam kita nak membina career akademik, I think honesty is the most important. Maksud tadi kata research that matters. Why do we do research? Okay, not because of the KPI, because something that we have to do. Okay, tetapi kerana kita ingin memahami dengan lebih mendalam. Dan kedua, apabila kita telah buat research, where we are going to publish it? Tadi Pak Din ada sebut. Okay, dan kita ada banyak pilihan. Yang pertama, of course, as an academician, we need to share that knowledge with our fellow academics. That goes to the academic journals. But where? Dalam academic journals itu, tentunya dalam jurnal yang baik dalam bidang kita, yang akan dibuat rujukan oleh rakan-rakan dalam bidang kita. Dan saya ada satu habit since 1999, at very young age. Saya dah mula orang akademik kalau publish dalam academic journal, orang akademik baca. But I want my research output, findings, to be read by corporate people. Bidang saya adalah accounting, so I started publish my first publication in professional magazines in 1999. Pada ketika itu, jadi saya, the best part of it that compared to the academic journal people cite you. Okay, you are happy lah when people cite you. Okay, tapi biasa dia cite pun sikit-sikit gitulah. Kadang-kadang tak dalam kurungan saja. But when you publish in a professional magazine, professional journal, within a few days after that publication, you will receive emails from the readers. Kalau dalam accountants today, there are more than 3,000 subscribers at that particular time. So I receive berpuluh email. Sebab bila artikel kita itu, kita kena letakkan email address kita. Some agree with you, some not, some criticize you. But doesn't matter. I feel so happy that people appreciate what I shared in that short article. Of course, tak ada lah cacing-cacing analisis, itu tak ada. It's very practical. You have to tune the style of writing. And then itu antara perkara lah. Dan how you share back your better understanding. You understand things better, and how can you share back with your students? It goes back to the teaching tadi. Kan? Jadi kadang-kadang kita risau bila kita tengok people focus too much on research, too much on publication, and forget about teaching. I think that is wrong, because our core business is still teaching. Whatever we do, kan, the student must get the benefit, and kemudian industri, kemudian masyarakat dan sebagainya. So that give you greater satisfaction. And also as an academic, bukan sekadar orang akademik saja hormat kita. You must gain the recognition by the industry people. And kalau you dijemput, how do you measure that? When you are invited by the professional bodies or industry people or other corporate forums for you to become the panel members. Kan? Jadi itu dia lebih memberikan kepuasan. Dan dari segi academic leadership, balik kepada tadi, saya pun bercakap dengan Profesor Tan Cho Chuan daripada NUS. Kalau di NUS itu, before you can hold admin position, say that dean punya level, you must reach the certain level, meaning that you are a respectable teachers. Your teaching ni dah sampai satu tahap, your research dah sampai satu tahap, your publication sampai satu tahap, baru you can be considered for an administrative position. Tak perlu nak melobi, tak perlu nak apa. Kadang-kadang ada juga perangai jenis lagi tu, tak sabar, bagai taklah mana tu kosong. Jadi let it come naturally. You don't have to apply sometimes. People see you, they think that that saya baru letak dalam Twitter, mari kau mari dulu. Ada juga orang follow saya. I mean, some people will see the potential in you. They will invest on you. They will take the risk to push you forward, and you have to be grateful. And once we are given that kind of opportunity, jangan hanyut. Don't go into the dark side. Remember the purpose of your punya appointments tadi, to deliver the best. The rest, and always put integrity in the highest place. Tak usah takut manusia. People can do so many things to you, but at the end of the day, the God dah tentukan segalanya, kan. Jadi gitulah. Dia bagi saya, you buat kerja you sejujur mungkin, sebaik mungkin as an academic. Teach as best as you can. Be the best teacher. Be a good researcher. Be a good and contribute to the society and things like that. The reward will come naturally. Stop putting the noise. Bagi saya masih ingat when I was young, the goal post is always changing. It's always, because the only change is constant. Jadi saya ni okay, ubah tak ada, maka bersuaralah mereka. Satu perkara je yang dia tak buat, apa yang dia patut buat. So akhirnya mereka kekal begitu. So I try to bring some of my friends to get back to the that, because I also believe that you can never be a good lecturer if you don't do research at all, if you don't write papers. Baca mudah, menulis cukup payah. Dia memerlukan satu pemikiran. Kenapa saya spend my time menulis dalam LinkedIn, write on Twitters and some Facebook? Of course, partly to promote UMK. I think I'm quite successful in creating visibility for UMK using LinkedIn. But when you write Twitter, for example, dia tidak boleh lebih berapa 100 lebih karakter sahaja. So you kena berfikir how to put things, to condense everything. Tapi maksud siapa dalam tu? Itu ialah satu latihan-latihan yang tanpa kita sedar akan menajamkan pemikiran-pemikiran kita. Kita tengok satu benda lalu kat ni, what trigger us? Hot lacking ni, walaupun kita ada PhD, ada profesor, secara ikhlas saya kata, what's lacking among the academician is the critical and creative thinking. Kita tengok but it doesn't trigger us. How can I do things better? What are the issues? What are the problems? And then once we have identified that, what trigger us? Hey, for the solution pula. So that kind of hot ni kadang-kadang sebab kita terlalu rigid, nak kejar berpuluh. Simple, berapa dah saya tak ingat Prof. Arham, KPI kita untuk publication 300, 400. We have almost 600 lecturers. So orang tulis je. We achieve our KPI. But the issue is, in academic, maybe only 30% that producing. So it kind of like putting a pressure orang yang dah buat kerja. I think we should look at the remaining 70% that are not contributing. If everyone start doing good research, so publish satu, separuh tak apa dah, akan rasa capai dah KPI. Majority 1-2 tahun contohnya. Orang lain ada yang 1 ataupun ada yang 2. So it balance up. Tidak perlu 20-30 sebenarnya. But syarat dia kena dalam jurnal yang bagus, yang itu. So dia sebenarnya it's not rocket science pun. Jadi gitulah lebih kurangnya adik kakak belakang.
Sebelum saya terima kasih Datuk. Jadi sebelum saya serahkan next baton ni kepada Pak Din semula, saya rasa tak adil pada saya untuk saya nak sentuh sikit berkenaan dengan keusahawanan lah. Because UMK ni ditubuhkan, diamanahkan atas dasar keusahawanan. Jadi bila kita lihat kepada soalan related kepada soalan yang saya tanyakan kepada Yang Berbahagia Datuk tadi, kita lihat atas dasar yang Datuk kata tadi, segala manfaat daripada penyelidikan, inovasi, penerbitan dan sebagainya yang akhirnya akan tumpah balik kepada pelajar. Jadi saya lihat, bila kita lihat 2 tahun kebelakangan ini, jadi kita lihat UMK ini telah menunjukkan satu prestasi yang sangat mantap dan sangat baik in terms of GE keusahawanan. Alright. Jadi untuk makluman Pak Din, kita daripada sebelum ni bawah daripada 8% tu, GE keusahawanan yang telah ditetapkan oleh oleh kementerian. Jadi kita sekarang ni kita telah berduduk pada paras 14% Datuk terkini. 15%. Jadi ini mungkin hari ini telah diupdate oleh Datuk, alhamdulillah 15%. Jadi ini menunjukkan bahawa walaupun kita di UMK ini kita fokus kepada penyelidikan, inovasi, penerbitan whatever, tetapi kita menumpahkannya kepada value keusahawanan tersebut. Jadi kalau bila dilihat yang paling terbaru ni untuk makluman Pak Din lah, jadi kita ada alumni kita yang telah berjaya di persada orang kata marketing, persada perniagaan dan sebagainya. Even salah seorang daripada kita punya bekas pelajar pun telah dinobatkan sebagai the CEO of the year. Wow. CEO of the year.
Young CEO
of the year, sorry. Young CEO of the year. Even ada juga beberapa produk yang telah menjadi viral dan telah mendapat income yang masya-Allah lebih daripada seperti mana yang kita maklum lah. Jadi boleh tak Datuk nak ulas sedikit berkenaan dengan Datuk punya strategi tersebut yang memungkinkan kepada peningkatan value of GE yang telah kita capai ni. Silakan Datuk.
Nak jawab juga. Okey, dia macam saya kata tadi, it is not a rocket science. GE pertama sekali tadi graduate entrepreneurs, and we also have graduate employability. One of the reasons why the GE is quite low lah. Kalau 2018 our GE is like 73%. So what we do is that in our first few meeting we ask these fundamental questions. Kenapa? From one questions to another questions dan sebagainya. One main reason is that student tidak mengisi pemborang itu. They don't even understand dan sebagainya. Itu satu. And then itu dari segi yang technical ini. Yang kedua ialah how do we prepare our students. Then comes we introduce what we call the starting school, pre-finishing, finishing dan sebagainya. It's about building the confidence among the students. And that really boosts, to our surprise, in 2019, that goes up to 91.98%, 92% from 73. And the same goes to graduate entrepreneurs, from 2.8 in 2018 goes up to 12.98 ataupun 13%. Kan? Jadi dia hanya memerlukan, itu saya kata tadi, we just need a bit of extra thinking, the creative and critical. Critical tadi dia balik kepada the fundamental, the ability to ask the fundamental questions and then to find the solutions. Kadang-kadang kita ni one step thinking saja, and then kita not based on data, based on perceptions. Everyone has perception. Bila saya first meeting tu, everyone give a perception, but they cannot back up by data. So we start looking into the data, we study, we analyze, dan kan kita hidup dalam IR 4.0. Yeah. So those are the things. And kalau kita boleh tanamkan kaedah tersebut dekat dengan pelajar kita, building up confidence, having a good critical thinking dan sebagainya. Sebab dunia di luar itu dunia yang berbeza. Betul. Dia tidak sama dalam classroom. Okey, jadi saya rasa itu antara yang telah kita lakukan, dan kita akan terus membuat penambahbaikan. And we need to write more case studies. Itu satu. Itu kita masih kurang lagi. Kita ada ramai peniaga-peniaga. Dari kalangan pelajar kita ada lebih 1000 pelajar yang menjalankan perniagaan. Ada hampir 700 student registered companies. I think that's the highest in Malaysia. We must be proud of that. Tetapi masih ada cabaran. Kita tak boleh nak puas hati di situ, kerana masih kurang. If you look at the detail data of our graduate entrepreneurs, we are still more on the trading industry. Dia bagus kepada ekonomi negara, tapi tidak boleh membawa negara ke tahap yang lebih tinggi untuk menjadi we need to go for a more high value, high end product, the innovation based entrepreneurship that will help bring out the country from the middle income trap to the high income dan sebagainya. Jadi kelebihan UMK ni, what I like about this university most is that we have the science faculties. So we are pushing the faculties. Itu yang balik tadi. Kita kena faham apa basic science, applied science. We do basic science, we understand things better, and then we think of how we can apply from that and turn into something that can bring benefits to the industry, to the community. Jadi baru lengkap ekosistem sebuah university itu. Kita masih ada kekurangan lah dari segi facilities, but that shouldn't deter us from having a big dream. Itu juga kita kena ajar pelajar kita to dream big. Jadi benar-benar gitu. Tapi nak buat kalau nak dream big ni, we need to explain to them. Masa saya di institusi lama, saya kata we want to transform student to be a human that not only responsible kepada diri mereka sendiri atau organisasi yang mereka bekerja, tetapi juga understand the consequences of the actions. Meaning they must be accountable kepada apa? Kepada planet, environment, kepada society, and to the people lah, society tadi. So itu yang ditekankan juga oleh Datuk Pengerusi LPU kita. Insan bagaimana yang kita nak lahirkan. Jadi kita hanya boleh lahirkan insan yang baik sekiranya kita ni sebagai tenaga pengajar, pensyarah juga betul. Nak betul tadi, balik pada tadi, buat research kena betul, publish kena betul. You must own your research, you must own your publication, not to have a free ride, for example. So di balik belakang konsep-konsep gini ya. Kalau kita boleh betulkan itu, dia bukanlah satu benda yang impossible untuk UMK menjadi sebuah universiti, kalau tidak terbaik pun antara yang terbaik di dunia dalam masa yang singkat. We have shown that we can do it. Panjang pula.
Terima kasih Dok. sangat inspire sebenarnya. Jadi alhamdulillah, untuk makluman semua panel kita sekarang ni dah mendapat view lebih kurang more than 100. Okay, jadi kepada all those my virtual friend, okay, we opening the question to all of you. If you have your question, just throw it in the chat room, and then inshallah I try to read every question, and then we try to give to the panels, and then perhaps that the panel can answer all the question raised by the penonton lah, from the audience. Okay, jadi saya pass mulalah baton ni kepada Pak Din lah. Saya tertarik sebenarnya bila saya diarahkan oleh my big boss untuk menjemput Pak Din lah, datang ke UMK ni. Saya pun cubalah untuk menyelami sebenarnya siapakah Pak Din ni. Sebab saya pun baru kenal rupanya Pak Din ni. Rupanya Pak Din ni sebenarnya my same bidang, same pay with me. Okay, as a chemical engineering background. Jadi saya lihat dalam Pak Din punya penulisan dalam Facebook dan sebagainya, dia lebih kepada seperti mana yang Datuk Naib Chancellor lah, lebih kepada yang memberi nasihat, memberi pedoman dan memberi kata-kata yang baik, khususnya kepada pensyarah penyelidik. My soalan, saya tertarik dengan ada satu statement di dalam penulisan Pak Din tu. Kalau boleh saya baca di sini, saya minta Pak Din untuk berkongsi dengan sahabat-sahabat penyelidik saya di luar sana. Okay. Kebanyakan database penerbitan strategi masih lagi belum dapat menjejak penerbitan dan strategi sebaiknya. Okay. Database seperti Google Scholar, okay, orang selalu guna ni lah Google Scholar dan sebagainya untuk melihat dia punya H-index dan sebagainya, dan dia declare, yes, I'm the best for the H-index. Okay. Memerlukan penyelidik untuk bertanggungjawab ke atas senarai penerbitan masing-masing, dan ini mungkin memberikan masalah terutamanya bagi penyelidik yang mempunyai nama yang lebih umum atau generik. Okay, contohnya terdapat beribu, mungkin berpuluh nama Z, contohnya Z Al-Atas, Z Al-Falah contohnya, tapi Z tu masih ada, ataupun ada Al-Bawah seperti mana Pak dia kata Abdullah. Tanpa sistem yang baik, tanggungjawab serta kesedaran yang tinggi, kesamaan ini boleh menyebabkan penerbitan diletakkan di bawah penyelidik yang salah. Okay, database corpus, WOS dan sebagainya. Saya minta lah untuk dapatkan sedikit pandangan Pak Din. Okay, mungkin Pak Din boleh kupas isu ni supaya kita punya penyelidik ini sebenarnya tidak terikut dengan trend ni. Ataupun kalau kata you tak percaya dengan I punya H-index, you check Google Scholar. Padahal nama dia sebenarnya nama Z. Di mana Datuk kata tadi, ada Z bawah, ada Z atas, kiri dan kanan sebagai contoh. Silakan Pak Din.
Itulah those who have generic name macam Pak Din ni untung saya boleh tumpang kan. There's 132,000 Pak Din dekat Facebook kan. So bila search Pak Din ada 132,000, carilah mana satu Pak Din ni. So this is where responsibility and integrity comes in. But coming back to H-index, when Professor Hirsch was trying to actually provide a feedback in terms of data, dia tak pernah menggunakan perkataan impact. It is just a number to show research that is being cited. Itu saja. And it is not meant to be compared across the board. For example, orang yang duduk dalam bidang mining, kalau nak tengok database, ini cerita database pun satu hal juga ni, WOS lah, Scopus. Mining journals dekat WOS ada lebih kurang 20, only 20. Chemical engineering journals ada lebih kurang 200. Material science and engineering ada lebih kurang 400. So when you talk about people having the responsibility to actually show prowess in terms of kononnya impact, in terms of how much numbers they have and how many citations they have, there's so many factors yang menyebabkan those numbers. Kalau dekat in most of the countries in the UK, Japan and so on, it's been taken with a pinch of salt.
Right.
I'm surprised when I came back. This H-index is such a big thing dekat Malaysia ni. Big thing. Corresponding authorship, for example, very very big thing. First author, for example, big thing. There are pula certain supervisors yang I have to be corresponding and first author. 10. Padahal in certain terms they're doing only editorial service. So this is where I was thinking about it, and I thought like, okay, and that is why I wrote that on the homage of two people that I was in Oxford. Number one is Sir Gareth Roberts, the late Sir Gareth Roberts, who is basically the president of Wolfson College. He passed away in 2007. I was there in 2005. It was at a collections, PhD collection. So maknanya after first, second semester, you meet with the college punya people. You have the senior tutor and so on. And he was very interested because I was doing chemical engineering, but my work was growing human bone cells of the human body. So I'm trying to understand the chemical engineering principles in terms of how these cells grow. So diffusion limitation, all the transport limitation bits and pieces, and you know how these cells will grow, you know, one-dimensionally, bukan tak jadi three-dimension. Why is it? What limitations? How these cells? So he was he was a physician, so he was very interested. So my collection became very long, and we became close. And one of the things that he said to me, the plethora of output of an academic is huge. But sadly, dia kata, even at that point in 2006, one day, Din, everybody will just fall on to only one thing, and they will use the numbers like nobody's business, and people like me will become of no value. And mind you, he was the advisor for National Health Service. He was doing conceptual papers for the British government. I mean, he's a real guy. But dia kata, I do publish, yes, but I publish in places where it matters. Conceptual papers, you know, these kind of things, blueprints, and this is where his expertise is truly in there. So, and he was saying to me that up to a certain point, there will be a time where people get really, really proud of the citation. Letak dekat Facebook, letak kat ni, you know, I ada 3-4 ribu citation, blah blah blah. Be careful. The people that cannot carry themselves and hide behind numbers are those people that you have to be very careful at. That's number one. And another person that I would like to pay homage to is a person called, he's also baru passed away. He passed away in 2018. Douglas Altman. He's a statistician. He's basically he's in Oxford. Basically, he's the father of bioinformatics. So one day he came to college. Saya part time. Saya jaga till dekat college. So when they have lunch, everybody has lunch together. Saya yang charge how much. So some of these fellows, they come, they orang ada allowance pun. Tapi bila dia orang datang, they pay full price. Some of them, oh, then you're very expensive today, you know. So I started to sort of like have communications with them. And Doug came in one day, and I just realized who he was. Like, wow, he's a big guy. So bila dia makan one day, I sat next to him and I had food. And the first thing I asked him was, Doug, do you know that your citations are massive? And then dia kata kat saya, what? How do you know? And I said, I tuned to Google Scholar. Itulah berbanding dengan researcher ada kat Malaysia yang, I mean good, it's great that you have 10,000, 15,000 citations. You can Google his Douglas Altman. You know how many citations he has? For a person that says that, oh, citation means nothing, 690,000. That's extremely scary. One of his books was cited 55,000 times. And I was asking him, wow, I mean, how did you manage to do it? It's not engineered, dude. I do research that matter. I don't even, you know, that Google Scholar was created by his research officer to answer for a certain thing. And he never looks at it. 690,000, well, doesn't mean anything to me. Dan seorang Naib Chancellor yang pernah pergi ke Indonesia, bawa profile universiti dan letak, ni our top researchers according to citation. Oh, Allah ni 10,000, ni 7,000, ni 8,000 ni. And one of the younger vice chancellors dekat Indonesia was asking, apa benar ya nombor-nombor itu? Kami di sini ada seorang profesor saja, kerjanya adalah di kampung ini ada basikal lah. Kerjanya adalah untuk mendapatkan satu proses yang paling mudah untuk proses kembali tayar basikal itu. Tapi enggak ada citation lah. Tapi nikmatnya 23 kampung ya, basikalnya tahan lebih 6 bulan lebih lama. Maka mereka boleh gunakannya. Enggak tahulah berapa citation yang dia ada. That's how it is. So when you talk about H index, citations, number one, it could be inflated. Number two, it should not fall as the only thing that we actually look at. Bila tanya je, oh H index. Bila tanya je H index, oh nak jadi examiner, H index berapa? Oh, I mean, it's so far-fetched in the sense that kita macam we depend only on one index to have a look. You don't even give these people a chance.
Yeah.
You know, he might have one really good paper that you know that spur everyone off, and he decided to go into training. For example, people like Philip Kotler, for example. I mean, he's a well-known guru. Write papers, and then he goes into conceptual areas where he starts to discover things, and he starts to advise technical people in terms of what to do. And this is the epitome. And Doug told me one thing. The sad part is most of the academics will come to a point where their end game is publishing papers. That's it. That's the end game. So maknanya saya apply grant, publish paper, fulfill KPI, selesai. But you know what? What about startups? What about entrepreneur? Where you can go out and actually use your expertise to go out. This is another end game. Nobody goes that. Because why? Because ongkosnya tinggi, pulangannya enggak lumayan, Pak.
Betul.
Kau nak kata bahasa Kelantan, oh, wak kerja cedung saja. Cedung saja tengah mana. So
tak faham. The translation.
So it's like what this is here. I mean, orang kata the return tak padan dengan apa kita ada. So this is where starting to look at, and people say, oh, why should I? Very heavy influence is given on publications in terms of promotion, for example. The only uncapped part kan. Right, please do write. Because the moment you write, you membenarkan ikrok dah. Orang nak baca kena ada orang nulis dah. So good. You write, membenarkan. Start slow. Jangan kata I don't want to write, I want to do things. No. You need to write, disseminate. Remember Fatanah, Amanah, Siddiq, Tabligh tu kena ada. But publishing is one thing. Giving talks is also one thing. Training people is also one thing. But do what you are able to do. Start small. Janganlah duk bear Q1 selalu. Let lu. No, go to conferences, build. To write is not easy. And just a short thing in terms of I told a colleague of mine yesterday about my experience in terms of writing papers in Oxford. Well, my supervisor looked at my first paper. Dia kata after 3 weeks, after 3 months of going through my work, dia kata you've got to do your transfer. In 12 months, 12 to 24 months. Do it early, just in case if kalau tersadung ke apa, you have time to actually repair. So dia tengok kata, I think you're ready. Okay, take that week off, go home, start to write for me. Oh, being in USM, a USM boy, should not be a problem. Masa tu swollen headed sikit lah. My IELTS was 8.5. Wah, kata okay, I'll sort of like write it out, no problems. Balik tu mohon nulis lah gitu pun. Jiwa raga tulis belakang. Sapa ke dia? Early lah, not even a week. Was impressive, good. I'll see you Monday. Shall I be in the lab? No. Go home, relax. Take a bit of time. Give me some time to actually look at the paper. Monday I came to the lab. Pagi telefon lab. Oh, good. You're the one answering the phone. 2:30, my office. All right, boss, no problems. So 2:30 tu naik data, belagar dengan dia. Dia kata, I'm going to the loo for a while. Just sit on the table. Don't do anything funny. Duduk dekat meja. The paper was right in front of me. Kita tak tahu. Congek belik. Bersih. No corrections, nothing. I thought like, oh, alamak, 8.5 IELTS. I've done this lah. He must be really proud. Ada 5 hari dia masuk, dia duduk atas meja. Okay, right. Let's do the autopsy. Whoop, tubik membaris. So, okay, what's about? Okay, right. Let's go page by page. First page. Oh, title. Oh, this title is good. The only reason the title is good is because I have given it to you. Dia ambil baris, soyok, sap. Hold on to that. Give me your hand. Hold on to that. Next, abstract. That word abstract. The word abstract is good. We have to use this. All journals have this. So you're okay. Hold on to that. First sentence of the abstract. The first sentence is really good, then. It's really good. The second sentence was very coherent with the first sentence. We take that first. Dua sentence. So you okay. Hold on to that. Third sentence. I don't know where you're going. I think you're sort of like deterring away. The fourth sentence is totally out. I think the abstract. Okay, the whole abstract's out. Okay, poop the whole. Next, introduction. We can use this word, introduction. So your cheeky introduction. Hold on to your hand. First sentence of the introduction. This is not introduction. Then come on. First sentence out. Second sentence out. Bawah ada figure. Oh, I really like this figure. Oh, yeah. Let's hold on to this figure. So your figure. Hold on to that. Bawah figure caption. This figure caption is rubbish. Then I've told you before. A figure caption means if that figure is detached from that, people would understand it directly by just reading the figure caption. That's what figure captions are for. It explains the figure. This is not a figure caption. Rubbish. Tahu tepi. Next, methodology. Stokos apabi. You know what I ended up with? I ended up with pieces like abstract, introduction, some figures here and there. No, so you gabok ni datang ni. Dia datang ya. Lepas dia kata, excellent, then work on that. Dia kata ni. Lapis tengok hari. It was a bloody humbling experience. It was really humbling experience. And I told him that, seriously, you want to work on this? And to be honest with you, dia kata, that is slightly more than Tyler, that's another postdoc, had just now. So you're okay, work on it. Balik, it was such a challenge. I went back, worked my heart out. Atak ke dia. And it was the fourth draft. He was really happy. I can see that he was beaming. But again, dia tanya soalan. Right then, after this whole process of me whipping you and doing things, blah blah blah, what have you learned? Because I was so close with him, basically you suck as a supervisor. Well, okay. Any other thoughts? I don't know. I mean, maybe I need to put a bit of heart in it. Explain to me, how do you prepare for this paper? And I go to him like, yeah, the usual 40 literatures. 40 literatures, you have 30 experimental work, 70 papers, condensed later to become 45 or 40. That's a solid thing. You have your objective, you have your, what do you call this, your flow. What are you going to talk about? What is the real gist thing? What are you going to focus on? That words later on that you go to thesaurus to change and to give that impact, that need. Excellent. You know what? All of that are all technical bits. I said, okay, am I missing an angle? Din, dia kata. What about the spiritual part? You are going to be responsible for this paper for the rest of your life. This is going to be published. Everybody is going to see this. Do you realize that this is going to stay there forever? And if the Lord is kind to you, He will take care of this paper and this paper's life. Typical paper lah. 3 years, 4 tahun tak ada lah citation. Gone. It's already dead. But if the Lord is kind to you, take care of your paper, He would given you. Because why? Because whatever that you permeate on the paper is His knowledge. It's from Him.
Yes.
It's from Him. And you started off, you've just gone Caucasian, you've just gone European. I would ask you, and he's non-Muslim, dan dia kata, have you done your simple 2 rakaats just to clean yourself up? Ilyahumuddin, Imam Ghazali, 12 tahun cuci jambe. Just for him to start. Because why? The moment I start, I want to be clean. So that there is no discrepancy in terms of my work, and the Lord will actually take care. Bersih sapala ni. Kitab kekal sampai sekarang. Kanun fi Atib. No, Ibn Sina. No, these are all people who write. Saya Datuk kata, not asking for favor. They are writing from the heart. My supervisor told me that, Jang, because I never gone through that route. Dia kata, how can you? Simple 2 rakaat, just nak kata, ya Allah ya Tuhanku, ilmu ini datang daripada Engkau, lalu atas aku. Even when I passed my PhD pun dia kata, who gave you your PhD? Well, again, the Caucasian mind comes about. I would like to thank you for your support. No! Batuan, the English way of saying it must be me and my hard work. I would like to thank myself. No. Must be the one who signed my. I would like to thank the Vice Chancellor and the. Oh, Din, come on. Who gave you your PhD? You are just a small filament. You know what? The Lord has given you that opportunity. He has looked at you. Dia boleh cukup-cukup ya. Korang tak dapat PhD lebih putus koi.
Putus ayah.
Putus ayah. Jeng. And you know what? How thankful you should be for me to be here having that. And you know what's his next question? Excellent. Then the population of people having PhD is basically 0.00012% of this world. You are the chosen one. And once the Lord has bestowed you over that, Dia telah memberikan, telah mengurniakan you PhD. The question esok you mati esok, He will ask, what have you done with it? Doesn't that scare you? Scares me every time. Every time. And have you ever asked this? No. Because why? So duniawi that we are looking at it, putting it on Facebook, promoting to people, saying that we have these kind of citations. Brothers and sisters, we are here because of the Lord. Jadi macam PU lah pula dah kecek dah. But isn't that the real thing? Doesn't that scare you? But I tell you what, that fear is good. Keep that fear with you. Saya berhenti situ.
Fantastic. Wow, kan. That is strategy yang kita rasa kita nampak daripada banyak pengalaman tu yang kita boleh share bersama. I think this is quite interesting. Thank you Pak Din. Jadi itulah, terima kasih banyak-banyak di atas Pak Din punya thought dan sebagainya. Jadi alhamdulillah we received something like a really good comment from the audience. Okay, one of them is from Dr. Valen. I think the invited speaker just awesome in his discourse. Bold and straightforward. Well done. Well done to the
Pinjah Dato' I am what I am.
Okay, and then I think from Mr. Najib Kamal, I think Pak Din kenal kot. Pak Din with interesting story. I really admire one lepak in USM. Okay. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay guys, we open the question to all of you, and we still have another 10 minutes. I think for the last round to the panel, and then we keep about half an hour, like 15 to half an hour, just to answer all the questions lah. Okay, I think the last round ni is just something like a general question lah, especially mula dengan Datuk dulu lah. Now they are talking about the predatory journals. Okay, this is now people always talk frequently. Cuma nak dapatkan sedikit lah. Okay, mungkin pandangan mungkin yang ada dengan panel pada hari ini yang boleh kita share, especially to our pelajar yang now they are doing their postgraduate study dan sebagainya. Jadi mungkin dia orang ni at the beginning level. Jadi in the middle level ni kita dah tak boleh buat apa lah. Mungkin kita boleh adjust according to our strategy, initiative dan sebagainya. Jadi minta sedikit lah Datuk. Saya rasa this is the last round. Yang boleh Datuk share sedikit lah setakat yang boleh untuk kita share kepada audience. Sila Datuk.
Kata kawan dia
predatory ya.
Yalah, nanti mungkin Pak Din boleh kupas dengan lebih baik lah. Dia ada dua lah, predatory is one, fake journal is another. Dan ni dia banyak because it has become an industry, a good business, and people start to create benda-benda ni lah. Tapi dia balik kepada apa yang saya sebut tadi, Pak Din ada sebut, the purpose. Balik kepada tujuan kita lah. Why we do research, why we publish. We should know that. Saya cerita dengan Pak Din, when we were young, when there was no Scopus or WAS at that time, people don't talk about Scopus, WAS. So kiblat kita di mana? Kalau saya bidang accounting information system, kita akan tengok apakah jurnal yang bagus dalam bidang kita. Kita cuba publish dalam hal tu. Itu saja. Kan sekarang ni pun it still apply. Dan kalau kita lihat lah, saya nak buka dalam bentuk yang lebih umum. When I was at the KPT, every time the ranking was published, there was always a big hype on kita main ranking, kita gitu, kita gini. Okay. Tapi saya di kementerian pada ketika itu, I know that even the minister at that particular time, saya serve 2 ministers. The first one, Datuk Seri Idris. I know that Datuk Seri Idris sendiri tidak pernah meletakkan ranking itu sebagai the ultimate aim. No. What he always say is that it is a byproduct of good quality education.
Yeah.
Tapi kalau kita main, itu salah kita. Sama juga dengan tadi. Okay, citation ke, H index ke, dia salah kalau kita meletakkan itu di depan. Sebab a good paper yang dipublish dalam good journal automatically will bring you good citation. Saya ada tahun 2005, siapa lah ni orang cite? Hidup lagi tak mampu. But it took me, like Pak Din kata, more than 2 years. Almost about 2 years. The first comment I received a long list of 40 comments. So we have to address each and every one carefully. 4 kali juga Pak Din, barulah akhirnya diterima. Okay, jadi ni balik pada niat kita tadi. Kalau contoh saya bagi, saya terkejut baru-baru. Beda business publish dalam molecular engineering, that triggers something. Tak kira kita sebagai ni, kita tidak tahu. Dan saya nak bagi satu contoh lah. When I was a dean, we went through 4 international accreditations. Okay. US based, UK based, Europe based and Japan based. One of the accreditation bodies came to audit us. So at that time we have like 30 faculty members and quite a long list of publication that we are so proud of.
Yeah.
Jadi itu pun saya dah screen tu. Mana agak-agak bagai tak terpakai ni buat dah. Okay, so we just show around 1,000 list of publications. So I still remember that guy, the chief audit, Julio. He's from Spanish, and he said that, hey, as you see, I think you guys have done a very good job. Panjang lah publication. Okay, you have about 1,000, almost 1,000, with only 30 faculty members over the last 5 years. It's quite impressive. However, something that bothers me is that none of the journals are familiar to me. Sebab dia dalam, contohnya dalam business and management, we have like 40 top journals where everybody should aim to publish in it. Or to the young familiar. But there's none of that. So it shows the quality. Tapi dia ni masalah ni, dia baik jugalah. Dia tidak godel tu. Dia puji dulu bagus sikit. Unfortunately, something that bothers me. Jadi kita apa, duduk atas kursi pun golosor. So balik pada tadi lah. Okay. If we are honest with ourselves, we own our research, we own our publication. There shouldn't be an issue about predatory ke fake. Even if you have to pay, avoid that paid journal, because to my understanding, to my knowledge, most of the top journals, they never ask you to pay a single cent.
Exactly.
Jadi benda-benda gini. Jadi mana tak boleh Q1 Q2 ke tak apa lagi, but at least some reputable at that. Sebenarnya QQ ni pun kadang-kadang, I mean, you macam Pak Din kata tadi lah. I met 2 professors from Cambridge and London Business School who came, ada sesi lagi ni lah di universiti lama saya, and people ask about Scopus WS. What the heck is that? They don't even know. At that time, that was in I think 2012, 13, 14 something. But then when you look at the list of their publication, memang Scopus WS pun, dan memang dalam Q1 pun, memang kali kira star 5 star. So maknanya kat situ dia tidak cara pun pasal hok kiu ke apa ni, hok dia aim dia ialah to publish in the best journal in his area. Sama apa dia kata tadi. Ya, dia tak cara pun berapa banyak citation dia, tapi bila when you check berpuluh ribu. Maknanya mereka tidak meletakkan itu. Kalau kita buat gitu, kita yang salah. It's not the system itself. So it's not rocket science again. It goes back, you tanya hati lah lagu mana. Dan kita harap it truly represent the quality of the university. That's what we want. It's not bila orang pecah baju kat ni kat skeleton. The quality kita sebenarnya. We don't want that to happen. Padahal tak?
Okay, terima kasih kepada yang berbahagia Prof Datuk NC di atas perkongsian pada hari inilah. Jadi sedikit lah daripada Pak Din berkenaan dengan isu predatory ni Pak Din, kalau boleh daripada Pak Din silakan.
My supervisor was saying bila datang akhir zaman, everybody is so busy to write, nobody is there to read. This is why Iqra is very important. Dalam keadaan kita membenarkan Iqra itu pun, we are so busy writing. Look at the quality of reviews now. I'm in a journal board of editors, and some of the reviews yang saya dapat daripada journal, it's like 3 line punya review. That's it. And review done, of course it goes into your HCMS. I've reviewed this paper. Quality of review is sadly bad. Why? Because I'm busy writing. I have no time to read. And this is where terhakisnya the understanding. So my supervisor punya question was, from that 200 papers that you have written down, daripada the 1,000 of papers that you read the abstract, and then you sort of like figure out which is more pertinent to what you're doing, you sort of like filter it to like that 250 core papers that you refer for your PhD, right? And the first time when he was telling me where to submit, kan, saya dengan bangganya was telling a Donald Pollock, Professor of Chemical Engineering, Chair Professor of University, I think we should look into this database where you've got this H index. Biasa daripada Malaysia, so I'm very familiar about this H index, this impact factor thing, blah blah blah. So chemical engineering, list down. There's some papers here yang kat atas ni tak ada kena-mengena lah, carbon tak ada kena-mengena dengan saya. So suddenly bila sampai bawah, we can go into biotechnology journals if you want, which has higher impact factor. So then no, let's stick to chemical engineering. So I was proudly using his computer keluarkan ISI punya list, masa sebelum WOS, ISI punya list. Okay, this is the impact factor, I think we should aim for this, blah blah blah, and so on. And he told me like, how come they have the authority to tell you which is better? If I were to ask you a very simple question, from that 250 papers that you've cited, so close to your work, how many papers that you have from these journals? So one that stood out was chemical engineering science, which accidentally is a Q1, which is at that time in 2005-2006 was top 10%. And he was saying, why didn't you choose that? So I said, because chemical engineering science is in the next page of the list, is the next page. Oxford kan tak ngam lah, I want it to be on the first page. I said, look, you have chosen these references from reputable source, you've read the paper, you know that the quality is good. Why can't you say to me straightforward that this journal is good? Why don't you have that feeling nak publish dekat dalam those places that you refer to? Ini berbeza daripada apa yang kita dapat sekarang. Yang kita dapat sekarang, talk untuk publication macam ni itu my supervisor itu commented, how come this kind of talks are plenty in Malaysia? Strategies to publish, nak ambil hati editor. My goodness, what are you trying to do? You're trying to politicize the whole thing. Don't. If you're a cook and your restaurant is like right at the end of the world, going to your restaurant kena lalu satu hutan, 3 batang sungai, padang pasir. If your food is good, there will be people there. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter where you do it, because at the end of the day, that word of mouth will come out. Biarlah jurnal lekeh-lekeh pun, people akan cari. People will, who people akan cari. So this is where he started to, number one, you read this kind of things, you verified it. You don't have the nerve to tell me that it's a good journal. Come on, Din. Secondly, how are you going to comply to these people? Do you have an internal journal? When would you like to support your internal? Bila lah jurnal-jurnal kita ni nak meletup kalau kita duk sibuk publish kat tempat orang lain? Japanese institutions will have a special mark in terms of publishing in Japanese journals, especially in their local language, and they will be translated. So this is, we don't have that. Tak ada. Tambah-tambah kita nak hantar local journal, tak skopus lah bos. Nanti masuk dalam publication lain-lain, tak ada weightage untuk ni. But again, if you cook for the king, the royalties will come. It doesn't matter what pot you use. And that's clearly what my supervisor said. Satu lagi, percayalah kepada jurnal-jurnal society. Society journals are people tergolong dalam orang-orang yang berpelajaran dan berminat dalam bidang tu. For example, I'm doing a bit of ceramics work. Like the top 2 journals in ceramics is American Journal of Ceramic Society, which belongs to the American Society, Ceramic Society, which is a society, and European Journal of Ceramic Society. Those are two. Boleh pakai lah. And if you have a society journal, support the society journal. And of course, journals like Chemical Engineering Science, who has been there for a whole lot of time, has a long history, and has not been interested in terms of making benefits from they orang ada tu semasa zaman-zaman, they are there before this multi-billion dollar business. So jauh hari mengenal manikam. If you can't tell me in your area that this is the journal that you want, there's definitely something wrong with you. That's my bottom line. And if you go back and sort of like look at the list to convince you where to publish, we've got a long way to go. Daripada saya.
Okay, alhamdulillah kita selesai kita punya our all 3 rounds for the discussion, and then exactly now sharp at 11:30 ni. Jadi kita tunggu juga beberapa soalan yang keluar. We waiting for the questions, guys. But mungkin panel boleh membaca di sebelah kiri chat room tu, sebelah kanan chat room tu. I think Dr. Wellen is quite active to give an opinion. To give his opinion actually. I love to cite the Dr. Vallen's point here, takeaway points. Be a good teacher and researcher, number 1. And the number 2, don't post your H-index achievement in social media. In bracket, just kidding. Alright. And then the third one is integrity in publications, and then spiritual well-being in academia. Okay, all the point that raised by Dr. Vallen just now is actually have been mentioned, were mentioned by our panel this morning. I think thank you very much, guys, for this session. I think they have no question. I think from the audience. Cumanya apa yang boleh saya simpulkan di sini adalah I think as a researcher ataupun penyelidik dan akademik ni, yang pentingnya adalah dari segi integriti tadilah. Seperti mana yang telah dimaklumkan oleh Pak Din tadi, kita mesti berpegang kepada 4 perkara tadi, iaitu sidik, amanah, fatanah dan tabligh tu. Kita must be pegang. And then yang keduanya memang betul lah, dalam Al-Quran pun ada menyatakan bahawa the iqra' tu. Kenapa even bila Nabi Muhammad SAW mendapat wahyu pertama pun di ayat yang diturunkan juga adalah iqra'. Jadi terima kasih kepada Pak Din. Jadi message daripada yang berbahagia Datuk tadi pun jelas. Okay, to be a good academic and penyelidik as a researcher, you must to take care your integrity. Okay, not integrity as your leader dalam you memimpin faculty, dalam you memimpin you small community, iaitu community pelajar-pelajar. Okay, dalam itu pun kita mesti ada integrity. Okay, malahan kalau lebih luas lagi integrity di peringkat yang lebih besar lagi. Jadi oleh itu saya ingin merakamkan jutaan terima kasih lah yang tidak terhingga kepada tetamu jemputan kita ni, mai jauh daripada Penang ni. Jadi untuk makluman semua, bukan this is not the only last and once you are coming here. Pak Din, insyaAllah kita ada fakulti kita di Jeli nanti yang related to your field. InsyaAllah kita akan cuba untuk engage kan because of dalam dalam kita punya di peringkat RMIC ni, di peringkat pejabat TNCPI ni, kita ada grant yang related kepada matching grant, social impact grant dan sebagainya. Perlu kita ada something, a good engagement from our counterpart lah, seperti USM dan sebagainya. Jadi kita universiti yang kecil masih bertatih pada jadi kita nak belajar daripada universiti yang dah jadi big brothers dan sebagainya. Okay? Alhamdulillah di peringkat top management, not just only from the Datuk side, tetapi di peringkat chairman juga, okay, memberi sepenuh support to us lah untuk, that's why kami ni di peringkat kami ni very aktif, sangat semangat untuk buat kerja, because of we really receive a good support from the top. Even untuk makluman Pak Din, dalam publication itself pun, walaupun benda ini tidak sustain, tetapi sebagai permulaan di peringkat RMIC ni kita introduce something like incentive, okay, kepada kepada penyelidik yang boleh menerbitkan paper dan sebagainya. Jadi ini bukanlah something yang sustain boleh selama-lamanya, tapi at least we start something. Dan seperti mana yang Datuk maklum tadi, kita pun ada peningkatan dari segi number of publication dan sebagainya. In terms of the SOP whatever tu, kita akan buat sedikit penambahbaikan yang boleh suit kepada semua komuniti di UMK. Ya, jadi terima kasih sekali lagi, especially to my division PRD lead by the Dr. Asrul. Start dari malam tadi kita chit chat, kita entertain di Datuk, di mana Datuk Kopi Machine Heritage tapi tuan punya Kopi Machine Heritage tu tak mari malam tak kita boleh jumpa. Jadi seterusnya saya ingin mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih kepada yang berbahagia Prof Teknologi Dr. Arham Abdullah, my boss, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Pendidikan dan Inovasi, di atas support, di atas sokongan yang telah diberikan di bawah pejabat TNCPI untuk kita bersama, untuk kita berkongsi maklumat berkenaan dengan minds in the publishing ni. Jadi terima kasih sekali lagi. Saya ada 2 rangkap pantun lah sebelum kita nak habiskan sesi kita hari ni. Tanah luas tak ada tuannya, tombak tajam ditancapkan. Atas perhatian dan bantuannya, terima kasih saya ucapkan. Dan satu lagi rangkap pantun, ingin baca mana korannya, sambal pedas mana kentangnya. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya, esok ditunggu lagi kedatangannya. Terima kasih Pak Din. Jadi sekian sahaja dulu RMIC Publication Talk 2021, Making Sense in Publishing. InsyaAllah kita akan berjumpa lagi di dalam di dalam ruangan dan sesi yang lain. Jadi saya mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih kepada semua sahabat virtual yang menonton program kita pada pagi ini. Saya sudahi dengan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.